Had one person write in asking for a crash course on the basics of traffic
Ooh.
management. So,
Okay.
hit us up.
I feel that the biggest thing that you need to know about traffic in cities, usually because when you first start playing, it's always like, why aren't these cars just doing what I want them to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a common frustration that I have still. But as long as you keep like the main sort of idea in your head that a car will always go to their destination like in the quickest route.
Okay.
So like the fastest. Like if this road has a high speed than the one next to it, they'll choose the one with the higher speed on it.
Okay.
And all roads do have speed limits. You can just hover over the road and you can see what the speed limit is. But there's like the small road is 40,
Mm-hmm.
and the median road, like the one with the median in it, is like 50. So if you have a median road and a single like a just a 1+1 smaller road on the side, they'll always choose the median because it's faster.
Yeah.
And the second one was they'll always try to get there in the shortest path.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth, if there are other ways to get from their destination without like walking too far, they'll either ride their bike, take a bus, take a tram, ride a train, any of like the public transport methods. So
Okay.
like traffic can be just managed if you follow those rules.
Okay. What was rule 3? Because I heard 1, 2, and 4.
What did I skip one?
I have no
I
idea.
don't actually have them numbered. I was just
Okay.
covering them as I went along.
Okay.
But it's the fastest,
Yes.
the shortest. Pedestrians will walk if it's
Yeah.
not too far. I guess that's number 3.
Okay.
And number 4, they'll always take public transport
Got it. Okay. Cool.
or ride a bike. They're sort of interlinked. They're similar. And the reason why they'll always walk is because you won't notice this, and you can't see this anywhere. But this is behind the scenes. Pedestrian sidewalks, like the ones that you draw, the little extra ones,
Mm-hmm.
they have technically a higher speed limit than the sidewalks on roads. Or so if you put like a pedestrian path, if you specifically draw out a pedestrian path,
Mm-hmm.
they'll use it because it's faster than walking somewhere else. It's
Okay.
probably faster than taking a car as well.
What?
I know, it's cheatsy.
Super.
So that's
cheatsy.
why instead of walking like on the sidewalk here,
Yeah.
from if they want to get from here to here, instead of just walking on the sidewalk, they'll probably go around a little bit because this in their little 11010 brain is just this is faster.
Even though it
They
is
can't-
longer.
Yeah, their speed limit isn't faster, so they can only walk at a certain speed, but they think that they can walk faster because it has a higher speed limit.
Huh. Interesting.
Haha.
Dun, da, da, da.
So, I mean that's just like the basic thing.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I guess other really great traffic management ideas are to have road hierarchy
Okay.
systems. We have a really great video on this on our YouTube channel, so you totally check that out. Where B Squirrelhausen goes through like what a road hierarchy for public transport is.
Mm-hmm.
Zardis goes through what road hierarchy is for just road systems are. Where you how to I guess realistically go from highway to a very small road,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't usually go immediately from highway to a small road.
No.
So it's usually off a highway onto an intersection, from that intersection onto like a bigger road,
Mm-hmm.
an arterial road, and then from that road they split off into smaller and smaller streets until you finally get to the one where your house is.
Yes. A related question
Ooh.
that someone, the calmest gamer on Twitch chat asked
Mm-hmm.
is, with the traffic, what about if you have two roads next to each other that are going the same speed limit? Then does it look for the quietest path, or how does that work?
Oh, if that's the case, then they'll probably look for the one that's a little bit closer. I think if the distance is exactly the same, I'm not sure if it'll be like exactly 50-50, but I do think it just randomizes it.
Hmm.
I don't think because if it can't do A, the fastest, or B, like the shortest, then I think it'll just randomize. I've never noticed like a pattern per se, but it doesn't always choose the same road.
Cool.
Don't mind me, I'm just eating tiny little trees
Just
while
little trees.
while I'm thinking.
Which is like the opposite of what you normally do, which is just
I know.
throw trees
This
everywhere.
is, I mean, this is a special stream
this
after
is
all.
a very special episode.
This is a special stream with special things.
Okay. All right. So, do you feel like you've shared your wisdom on the basics of traffic management?
I both think there's so much more, but there's also like if I go into it, we'll just be in this giant hole of this is how you make like a city. I
Hmm.
think if people have questions, I think they should totally ask them. But where do where do I start? It's
Yeah.
hard.
And
It's
where do I
hard
cut
to.
you off? Indeed. All right. So then we can switch over to the next question.
Yeah, I think it's relevant. I think it
Yeah,
has,
it's related.
it's
Definitely.
similar.
Yep.
Yep.
We had people asking how do they create efficient public transportation?
Yeah, so the traffic hierarchy video that B Schoolhausen made, very relevant. Totally look at it. It's really pretty. But basically different modes of transport have a different efficiency like distance.
Mm-hmm.
So a train, for example, super efficient on carrying tons of people from A to B that is pretty far apart. Like you would probably have, like the main station that I have here, you wouldn't have train stations like every 100 meters.
No.
That wouldn't be efficient for trains. But I would probably. Oh, hello, I just died.
She just gets so choked up over this.
Cities, I love it so much. But I do have the main station here, and then this is the next train station.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's quite far. You'd and when it comes to other modes of transport, the smaller the transport, the smaller the distance between stops would be.
Okay.
So train is super efficient on carrying tons of people further distances. The next one, oh gosh, so many buses. But the next one would probably be either monorail or tram. They're
Okay.
similar.
Yeah.
This basically the same vehicle. One is in hovers above the streets, and one is on the ground. Very similar. Carries a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But can have more stops. Um, than a train can. And it also uses on street, the tram, and monorail just skips all the traffic, so it's super efficient for it. Like if you have a lot of other traffic in
Mm-hmm.
that area, you can just put the monorail above a road, and then it whizzes through traffic. I like tram
Okay. Why is that?
mainly because it's pretty.
So it's an aesthetic thing.
For me, probably.
Okay.
But it's also super efficient if you want to have a route where a bus would go, but you need a higher capacity.
Mm-hmm.
If there needs to be like more people transported. And then the smallest one, of course, would probably be bus.
Okay.
Because bus, they can stop anywhere, but they usually don't have a super high capacity. So you probably need a lot more buses on a route.
Like here.
Like here.
So many
Like we
buses.
probably need more buses on this line because there's a bunch of people. But they have different their optimized length is very different.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably wouldn't have a bus route go too far either. It wouldn't be like super long. Like it'll have a ton of stops, but it probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't have a bus route that goes from like over here to over here.
No.
That wouldn't be super efficient. Instead, you would probably have it go from here to a little, like the bus depot.
Okay.
And then, a person could swap to another bus line that then would take them to the other end of the city.
Mm-hmm.
While a tram could go probably that entire distance because of its capacity
Cool.
increase. I love City Skylines.
She does.
Okay.
All right. So that you feel like you've shared.
I don't know. Have I shared enough? Do I have more? My brain is on fire.
Oh my goodness. Do we have an extinguisher in the back? Anyway.
This is
Oh.
pretty extinguishable. Oh,
She's
yep.
like eager to get that on real quick.
Right. I mean, yeah.
All right. Then what is the best way to optimize and build intersections?
This is interesting.
What?
This again could be like an entire episode length of just me building intersections and showing why this one is better.
Okay.
I think a lot of people when they first start building, when they first start playing, they don't actually build their own intersections.
Mhm.
They download them from the workshop, and I think it's great to just look at intersections that other people have made to learn how they work and stuff like that. But I think you also lose a vital part as to why an intersection looks a certain way.
Mhm.
you have to look at your city to see where cars want to go before building an intersection, because you might download the prettiest intersection, but there might be too much traffic going in a certain direction and it could get clogged.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest part about building an intersection in your city is just to see like where does traffic want to go. So like here, for example, you can actually. So I'm just gonna use the traffic routes tool to see where the traffic here wants to go, and I can see that there's quite a lot of people that just want to take a right turn, right?
Okay.
So then we would just increase the lane count here to be smaller, or to be higher. And then, I'm just going to turn on anarchy because apparently that's needed. And then we can, then they'll have a specific lane for turning that direction. And now they can queue up much better.
Except for that one guy that's just like,
well, they're freaking out a little bit.
taking it easy.
He just doesn't understand what's going on. He's just going to cut across now.
Someone is a student driver.
But just to analyze your intersections, both the ones that you build yourself and to analyze the ones that you've downloaded, because you can still use them, obviously. But to look at the traffic in your city, because every city is different, and to see where does traffic really want to go. And to try to optimize that rather than just, why aren't they following all of my strats? Why aren't they listening to me? Usually they are, but they have, they're not 100% sure how to use use the roads that you have built, or they're not super optimized for what they need.
Cool. And does that help when you're building an intersection as well?
Yes. Most of the time when you're building an intersection, you're not entirely sure, because it's gonna be a new thing. But if you can tell that like this road is getting a lot more use than this one, for example, then maybe you can be like, yeah, maybe this should be, maybe this shouldn't be like a roundabout. Maybe if they're only going, most of the traffic is going through it, maybe we should separate it and make it into a different thing.
Interesting.
Yes.
What about the tree that's in the middle of that road?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. All right.
I had a mod when I was building this. I installed the mod afterwards.
Okay.
And now all the trees are just showing up. The trees that weren't there to begin with. And I if you see me deleting trees, then you know why.
Nature finds a way.
They aren't supposed to be there. But they are. So like this is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Most of the traffic that goes through this intersection want to just go through it. Not a ton of cars want to drive off it. Some do. But most just want to go through either the city or get to another area. So this intersection is vastly different than this one, where people actually might want to have a semi-equal like need of turning in a certain like in every direction. So they're very, very different needs. I think I even have like a trumpet over here. Let's see. Oh yeah. And then here, covered with trees. Obviously, we couldn't have like just a normal looking. God. Okay. So this is a trumpet interchange, similar as the one with the roundabout underneath it. Most of the traffic is just gonna pass through it. Most of the traffic isn't gonna actually exit off of it, or do anything weird other than just go straight across the bridge and then be done.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Then the next question is also kind of related. Someone was wondering, like, the best way to build vanilla roundabouts.
Ooh, okay. I will turn off anarchy and show how that's done.
After she kills all the trees.
I'm not killing the trees. They shouldn't exist to begin with. Okay. Let's find a good. Where's like empty land? I mean everywhere, but I need it to be like semi-flat.
Okay.
I'm gonna use this area. This seems fun. This right here. It also seems to be getting pretty dark. I don't want it to be. I think that's just me. Oh god. I did something to the settings, and now everything is just both super bright and super dark. All right, so I'm gonna turn off anarchy. I'm still gonna have the mod because I'm not gonna like restart the computer to make that happen. First, I'm just gonna make a circle.
Okay.
It's probably not gonna be perfect, but honestly, most roundabouts aren't perfect. It's
Okay.
very rare to find a roundabout that's like perfectly
Do you
circular.
go around to roundabouts and like do with measuring
I
tools?
have spent a weird amount of time on Google Maps,
Okay.
just looking
Okay.
at cities.
So your knowledge is based on Google Maps, not actual like research out
I
in the
I
fields.
would say that my eyes are very apt, like at seeing if a thing is a circle or not.
Okay.
You know,
hmm What shape are most roundabouts then?
circular-ish.
Circular-ish. Okay.
I'm gonna use a road with a sidewalk. Any road will do. Because the highway road, which is what we're gonna upgrade it to in a second, doesn't actually this snaps really well if
Mhm.
you have all of the road guidelines on. But the highway doesn't. The highway doesn't snap, so you have much less ability to control it. But, you know, so I'm usually build it with this one, and then I try to make it circular. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that looks pretty circular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a circle. And I think the reason why most people have a hard time making a circle is either because they haven't built a lot of roads like they're not sure how to bend it
Mm-hmm.
to get it to be like a good angle, and that just comes with time.
Okay.
There's no real
tricks.
there's like tricks that you can do, but sometimes just trial and error is
Mm-hmm.
usually easier. And also see how these is like 4 segments in between these dots, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I were to put a road in the middle here, it's gonna cause a little bit of fun stuff.
Just a little bit of fun stuff.
The segment breaks in half, and the game changes how the road looks because of it.
Okay.
The 4 segments turns into 3 segments, and to like compensate for like the angle, the roads like drastically shift
Okay.
and become
Oh,
that. Uh,
that is definitely not circular.
it's not very circular.
No.
Oh gosh. Control Z mod. The workshop is great.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work. But you can fix that pretty easily.
Okay.
Because the thing you basically want to do is try to keep the 4 segments.
Okay.
So you can just do like something like this, and then you'll just try to find a spot here. This is gonna be a little bit hard, especially without anarchy. I might have made this roundabout a little bit too small, but the principle still is the same. I'm just gonna turn on anarchy so we can show it. So as long as we keep the nodes where they are,
Mm-hmm.
the roundabout will stay a circle.
Okay.
And then just add more roads to make it an actual intersection
Mm-hmm.
wherever you want at any angle, and then it'll be a working roundabout.
Very nice.
Ta-da! If you want to remove these the crosswalks, having it be a highway road is probably what you would want, because then they can't. I mean, the roundabout will be a little bit faster, and cars might use it because speed. They look for speed.
Mm.
And they will also, there won't be pedestrians walking all over the roads,
No.
causing a little bit of, stoppage, I guess. I'm trying to look for words.
Pandemonium.
Yeah, chaos.
Such chaos, yes. Ugh, nobody wants that.
That's how you make a roundabout.
Cool. And are roundabouts usually preferable to like street light intersections?
I like the challenge of having lights.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't, understandably, because it can cause a lot. And it's very dependent on like how much traffic there is.
Mm-hmm.
But a roundabout usually, especially since car crashes aren't a thing in cities,
What?
you won't have a lot of car damage and stuff because of crazy people in roundabouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatively good to have roundabouts basically everywhere, and I think Biffa would confirm this. But roundabouts are very good in cities.
Excellent.
People find them really easy to drive in.
All right.
So many stupid little trees.
Trees are important.
Not in the middle of. Oh wait, here. Do you want to hit? Yeah, look at the tree. Look at this.
I mean, that's not ideal, and now it's gone, so problem solved. All right, the next question we get a lot. I see this a lot on all the social platforms. People asking, how do you build and optimize a parking lot?
So without mods, you can't build a parking lot. You can
Okay.
visually build a parking lot.
Something that looks like a parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been like a couple things, throughout the years of different, what when vanilla assets have been updated or
Mhm.
added, especially now with the latest train station CCP,
Mhm.
you get the parking lot road, but you do need to get mods to access it to begin with. So, um, but you can back in the day, back in the day, this is like actually bringing out like weird memories.
See, we're teaching history here.
Like
History.
actual history. You can use the 6-lane road, just the normal 6-lane road from the base game. And you can just like add that as a parking lot. Obviously it will still have the lanes on it. But you can basically make it look like a parking lot. Because when you don't have a lot of options, this is pretty good. It doesn't not look like a parking lot. But without mods, this is pretty good.
Mhm.
But with mods, there is like a ton of options, many different parking lot roads. And even like buildings that have parking spaces in, so you can individually place every parking space.
Mhm.
And that's very fun.
I have a feeling you do that.
Yeah, I do.
I can just
I
picture
do.
you like at home, just one by one.
Yep.
And maybe
Yep.
there's a cat in your lap, and you're like, yes,
Yep.
it's all coming along. Yes, I see that.
It's very fun. Uh, to some people.
To some, yeah,
To,
yeah.
to me. Basically nobody else. But I really like it. There is also in the base game
Mhm.
only, I'm not sure about the percentage, but it's a pretty low percentage of cars that actually look for a parking space to
Okay.
park. You can change this with mods. TMP has like an advanced parking AI option where I think like more than 70%. I'm pulling this just out of thin air. But a very high percentage of cars will go look for a parking space.
Okay.
Otherwise, they will drive up to their building, poof, and suddenly a person will appear. And they'll put their car in their pocket and walk into the building.
Yes.
Pocket cars are a
Pocket
major
cars.
deal in the base game.
If only they existed in real life. That would be so
Right?
easy.
That would be so good.
Yes.
No more buses for me, only pocket
Yes.
car. Sort of like with bikes, they will just pull the bike out of their back pocket and ride off into the sunset.
Yes.
But without mods, it is not really super possible to have like a full parking lot. You might see like just a handful of cars.
Mhm.
But if that's honestly the addition of all of those cars looking for parking, it does cause a little bit of traffic as well. So keep that in mind if you try it for the first time. It might cause some iffy things to happen. New and harder traffic issues to
Yes.
solve.
Oh no. Going back to the roundabout, we have a
Mhm.
question from Silver55X
Ooh.
on YouTube chat wondering, don't you need to manually add a sidewalk like pedestrian path with the highway? Otherwise, pedestrians can't get from one branch of the roundabout to the other.
Yes, that is very true. If you do want them to be able to cross like on the sides, on the outside, you will just need to. Let's see if I can get the needed to get back. I might have just deleted it.
Mm.
I deleted so many trees, but in
Yeah.
between. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're good. I hit Control Z like a billion times. But if you wanted pedestrians to walk from this intersection or like these crosswalks,
Mm-hmm.
you just gonna turn off some of these snapping options because otherwise it'll like snap onto the road itself. But if you wanted it, I'm gonna turn off anarchy so that even the vanilla people can do it. Just gotta get the angle a little bit steeper. So you just add a little crosswalk like that and they'll walk around
Cute.
using that.
Awesome.
And yes, he's correct.
Good. Cool. And Biffa has joined the chat and
Yep.
says that there are parking lots in the green DLC. If you've got green cities, you can draw 2x4 blocks that will spawn a car park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you want to use that as an option, it looks like Biffa's teaching us some things as well today. Thank you, Biffa.
Thank you.
All right. Are you ready for the next?
Beyond ready.
Oh, she's so ready. She's ready. All right. This question is related to green cities, I guess. How do you incorporate green spaces into a city? Like, what's the best way to do that?
It depends. I mean, if you're trying to build like a realistic, how do I realistically involve this and make it fit into my city?
Hmm.
It depends on what the climate is.
Okay, like the climate of the city?
Yeah, of like the place where you're trying to build.
Okay.
So like maybe a very hot city wouldn't
Hmm.
have a ton of parks with many trees, but they
Hmm.
might have many plazas.
Yeah.
And maybe like this city here, which is basically just in the middle of a forest on hills,
Hmm.
this city has like a ton of trees because that is sort of part of its the climate that I intended it to be.
Hmm.
um,
She likes trees.
I do like trees. And parks can look very different. Green spaces can look very different depending on where you have them. I mean, the city right now looks crazy green because there's a ton of trees where they're not supposed to be trees. If I just remove like all of these trees just aren't okay. But you probably wouldn't see a ton of larger parks in residential areas. Maybe they have like a forest with paths in it.
Hmm.
Other than that, they'd probably have like maybe like a little place where they could take their dogs to
Yeah.
go run
Yeah.
around. But you wouldn't see like a ton of pre-planned out parks unless they are either like an old feature of the city, like an old, maybe it was like a big grand house that
Hmm.
had like a park around it, and then the residential area built up towards it.
Okay.
Um, you would see larger parks like in downtown areas. Like if
Hmm.
you go look on Google Maps, like Chicago has a big park near like the shoreline. New York has the
Park.
I'm blanking.
Central Park?
Central Park. Thank you. Why did I lose that word?
I,
And many cities have big sort of not super tree populated parks in near or around sort of central
hmm.
area. And then it gets more and more true nature the further out from the core it is.
Hmm.
So in the downtown, super structured, big parks, a lot of paths, a lot of like facilities.
Hmm.
And then the further out from the core, it would probably be just a forest with paths in it,
Okay.
and more, uh, just forests area. It goes from being super structured to being just nature.
Okay. And what about if the climate in your city is not like forest climate?
Then it would probably move from being green to being desert, or
Hmm.
being just giant boulders maybe,
Yeah.
or like more of an adventure sort of a thing.
Hmm.
Than forest with super tall trees and paths
Yeah.
just running through it.
Cool.
It just depends. Honestly, look on Google Maps. Google Maps, a great resource if you're trying to make. This is
Yeah.
turning into just Google Maps stream. But turning into how to find that sort of the thread of where to take the nature.
Hmm.
I mean, just looking at real life examples in general to learn what it looks like. It's really
Absolutely.
great. This is really backing up and it's making me
Cool.
real stressed.
Well, since you're talking about cars, we
Mhm.
did have someone in chat. The Dr. Uber driver
Okay.
on YouTube chat wonders what mod do you use to make the cars go smooth like that?
So actually, none. I don't think I have any mods. This city I built completely vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is the first time I'm altering any of the roads with any mods. I don't even think I have any TMPE settings on at the moment. I have despawn off. I think that's the only thing we have done.
Okay.
The cars are moving a little bit slower because I have speed slider, and I just prefer to have the camera move a little bit slower. In reality, this is the speed that they go on. But the camera moves also super fast, and I don't like
Yeah,
that.
that's
It's a
not.
little bit for stream, I think. It's like a little bit harder to follow if everything is moving at like it's a little bit too fast
Yeah.
to keep track of things.
Cool. But if could you recommend uh a mod that would help people who maybe would like their cars to drive a bit smoother?
I depends on what you mean by smooth. I mean, if you just want them to move slower, probably speed slider. They won't actually move slower, but visually they will just slow down a little bit. You could probably use TMPE has like a speed thing where you can change what the speed limit is on roads. So if like they're moving too fast or something, you could slow down the speed limit.
Cool.
But it depends on what they mean by slow. I'm not sure how to answer that really.
Yeah. Well, that's helpful.
If you want to clarify it, I'll answer it again. For sure.
Absolutely. Are you ready for the next question?
You know it.
All right. How can you make a non-grid city look pretty?
All of my cities in the beginning were grids.
And why was that?
Because making 90-degree corners is a lot easier than making circular ones. Or
Sure.
not 90-degree corners is a lot harder.
Okay.
The thing that I do, and I still see it all over, is instead of making just a straight road when I draw roads, I'm just going to start drawing a road here. Instead of drawing just square, I might use the curve tool, or the freeform or the curve tool, to just add a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of spice. So just make like a straight section, make a curve, add another straight piece, and then build my normal sort of grid from these. And then you will find that they will meet at a weird angle. And that angle will be enough to like create like some interest and not just have it be completely square. That's how I started. And I mean, I think you can like sort of see that because I have like the main highway that I drew. And then I have like most of the roads are a straight piece and then a little bit of curve and then a straight piece and then a little bit of curve. And I just randomly do that, like straight piece, a little bit of curve, straight. And then from there I just branch off into just sort of grids, because grids do better in cities.
Okay.
Because all of the buildings they want to be built on a completely square lot. So if you want to have like taller buildings, you will need to have it be semi-square. Like at least a little bit of squares in some spots so that you can have just an optimal amount of building.
Okay.
But for like residential, most of the streets are probably like they're probably not super straight, because these buildings doesn't really matter as much. If you have a ton of residential buildings, I wouldn't see that as a negative.
Okay.
So for my like small residential, I just have a lot of super weird angles.
Yeah.
Just because you can.
And as a fan of big wave energy, do you ever just go crazy and not do any gridding? It's just like flowing paths, and do you ever do that?
I mean, for parks, generally I do have them sort of structured, because I
Yeah.
think it just looks nice to have like symmetric sort of.
Mhm.
It's pleasing to the brain. But if I do like a nature reserve, most of the time you won't see a straight road
Okay.
or a straight path, or yeah. And also for train lines, maybe not in here because I wanted it to look pretty nice. But for train lines, when I draw them in my own city, I only use the freeform, just both to cause myself in the future to not have to build so that I can't build straight. Because it's like a domino effect, because I usually put down the train roads first, or the train tracks first. And then as I build, they cause me to not be able to do that.
No.
And it's super fun because it creates like, a hindrance that becomes like just a part of the city. So just force yourself to not to add a little bit of fun. A little bit of, not square roads.
No squares here.
No, we're not. No.
All right.
Nothing. There's no real rule on how to do it. Most people do it differently. But just start trying.
Okay.
You just gotta take that step. Make a straight segment, then a curve, then a straight, and then a curve, and then just build from there.
Cool. Excellent. Sounds good.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
real science behind it.
All right, now we're kind of switching over to a different area, not so much road related. Someone wants to know, how do I terraform? Please explain.
Yeah, we're going away from like just theory talk, and now let's let me show you the tools.
Get in there.
So I do have a mod, just so that this will go a little bit faster. The vanilla tools work exactly the same. The brush strength is just super slow.
Okay.
So we have a mod just to make it go faster.
And what mod is that?
More landscaping options.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever. The hotkeys are always not right.
They're your hotkeys.
Yeah,
Why
but
is this a problem?
Jan.
Jan was weeks ago.
But Jan did it. It's all Jan. It's all Jan.
I'm so sorry, Jan. I know you had nothing to do with this.
Look, it's always and perpetually Jan. That's just how it is.
It's just not.
Okay, now I have the button back. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Now I got it.
Now we're going
Now
on
the
to
panel at the
terraforming.
bottom isn't super big.
Now that you have blamed Jan for everything, now it's time to terraform.
As all things should be.
Oh, good Lord.
So what do you want me to build? What should we terraform? I think should we make a river? Should we make a mountain?
I
Should we
mean,
make like a
what if
valley?
we did
What's the
kind
thing?
of like a build up part of it so you can see
Mhm.
that, but then also build down into like a river. Valley.
Okay. Let's see. Where can we build this?
Somewhere.
How about on the other side of the map?
Perfect. Yes.
All right. So let's start with the mountain. I usually try. I think we can build. Can we build outside on the map? Okay, we can. Outside of the sort of the general area here. All right. First, we're gonna try to build a hill. So we have 5 different tools. This is just sand. It'll just paint the world with sand, so I don't really include that in the terraforming.
No.
Per se. But we have raise and lower. We have flatten or like level, I guess. And then this one is smooth. And then this is slope.
Okay.
And then this is ditch, which I never use. It just makes a little ditch, and it's yeah. I never use it. I
Right.
only use the first 4.
Would you say that you ditch the ditch?
Yes, I do. That was pretty good.
Ba-dum-tsh.
That was pretty good. All right. So usually when you start a mountain, let's just build a giant hill. So these are the strength and the stuffs. They will look different in vanilla. You'll have just brush sizes, 3 different ones, and then strength at 3 different ones. But if we wanted to go, for me to have a little bit more time to show these off, so we have mods to make it a little bit smoother.
Mhm.
But this is exactly what you'll see if you build a map in Map Editor, though.
Okay.
So these are just the map editor tools basically brought into the game. So let's build a little hill. I've put the strength at pretty low because this otherwise will just have like a 2-mile hill immediately.
Yeah. And that
So-
teaches no one nothing.
Wait.
Ugh.
Do you want just a giant peak? Because it's quite easy.
Nobody needs that.
When I try to terraform, I try to follow sort of what the map is. If it's
Mhm.
completely flat, then you can make it all up if you want. But this one already has a little bit of topography. You can
Mhm.
see the lines indicating height on the map all over. So when I try to raise it, I try to not create just mountains where there wouldn't be any,
Okay.
because that will pretty easily show as not natural.
Yeah.
So I try to just also most mountains, because of erosion, they won't have it won't be a completely straight just cone.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably have a lot of runoff sort of valleys in it.
Yeah.
So starting at the top and then just pulling down a little bit usually creates these little sort of I don't know what to call them. Just the peaks of
Mhm.
like the mountain as it goes down. And oh God, it's not very tall. It's not very tall at all.
I mean, I would hesitate to call that a mountain.
It is a semi-tall hill.
Mm.
It's just like a hill. And then just doing this. Just make it look like a weird little
Yeah.
spider thing.
Starfish or something.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Do you ever use Google Maps to help you with your mountain shapes?
I think for that, pictures would probably be easier.
Mm-hmm.
I think I took mine a lot from just playing a lot of GTA, because then you can like actually walk around in pretty like on a mountain that's pretty small, and
Mhm.
you can see most elements of it
Okay.
in a pretty, close and compact form.
Mm-hmm.
But because Google Maps isn't great at like 3D when it comes to
No.
like it's not super intricate in that way. But pictures are really good,
Mm-hmm.
and other games that have mountains in them, because then people have actually done the research and you can just look at it.
Mm-hmm. Little cheat code.
And learn from them, yeah. So now I have a weird little starfish,
Yeah.
and it will look like a mountain. And then we'll use the smooth.
Okay.
This I'll pull up the strength a lot, because otherwise it's gonna be this is pretty slow in comparison to the other ones.
Okay.
And then we'll just move over a little bit and like make these little starfish legs a lot smaller. Just blend it in a little bit. And because this mountain isn't super tall, I mean it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting there. We might want to smooth it out so it has just one peak.
Yeah, one like main peak.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like a lot. It still looks like just the babiest of mountains.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna smooth it out. Just all over.
And does that add to the realism as well?
Yeah. Most mountains, unless it's like a new volcano, would have
Mm-hmm.
both, like, because it's covered with a lot of grass.
Yeah.
The grass itself and the dirt on it would be have been like created a pretty smooth sort of top layer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to have it a lot more rocky, obviously you can do that. In the tool, there's a bunch of different brushes. Right now, we've only used like this super smooth,
Mm-hmm.
very blurry brush, but there are like these brushes.
Okay. And the
also,
star brush.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I've never used these. How would you use this in like just a normal? This is just for fun. I can't say that anybody's ever used these in like I'm gonna make a mountain with the star tool.
I mean, I guess that would maybe help if you were using like the starfish idea.
Yeah, maybe. You can only have like 5 little starfish legs, but
Yeah.
you can use some of these brushes are
Okay.
just they look like texture.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use like the high and lower, and then you can just like add texture to it,
Okay.
and it'll look, because the smoothing tool just blends it out,
Yeah.
and then this can like add the actual texture to it.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah,
now
it
it might
looks-
look a little bit more rugged.
Yeah,
I
it looks
guess.
a little bit less made up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You took the blending tool a little too seriously there, yeah.
And then maybe
Cool.
like at the bottom we can add a little bit. And if it gets too
Yeah.
much, smooth it all out.
Smooth it out.
Smooth
Cool.
it out a little bit. There's like a little bit too much. And if you want to add like the little irregularities in
Mhm.
places, you can always like just add a little bit of texture.
Just a little bit of texture.
Basically that. Rivers, basically the same thing, but we're gonna do the opposite thing. So instead of having octopus legs going, wait, what was it? Not starfish. The octopus. Hello. We want to have it go downwards. So then you just
Okay.
right click. So, oh no, wait, left click. Wait, right click. Yeah, I don't know right and left.
This
I've
is
never learned.
right. This is
Yeah, I have to always hold up the
L, yeah.
fingers to look for the L, and that's
Yeah.
left. I never learned. So we just want to just right click to lower the terrain instead.
Okay.
So we just slowly just work our way up. Do we want to have like a river winding up the mountain, maybe?
Or winding down the mountain. I think
I
that's
mean,
probably more accurate.
it would be, yeah, but I'm working my way from the bottom.
Yeah. She started at the bottom and now
Yeah.
she's making her way up to the top.
Yeah, boy. So we just do the opposite.
Yes.
Rivers usually do snake quite a lot.
Mhm.
Like it's very rare that you'll find a river that's perfectly straight. They usually go like a little bit like this. Depends on the speed. If it's a super high speed river, the curves will be much bigger.
Okay.
But if it's a slow moving, like
Meandering.
yeah, meandering, they usually snake quite often. They might even snake in on themselves,
And
create a loop.
is there a reason for that? Do you know?
I am not a geologist.
Okay.
I just know it because I have looked at pictures and I have seen it happen.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that looks nice.
That's pretty good. If you don't have mods, you can still make your own little rivers. They might be filled with poop, and that's fine. If you have some,
Is it fine? Is that fine?
fine is like whatever.
Would you live in a town with poop rivers?
instead of asking that, let's just ask if you want a river and you don't have mods, you don't have a lot of options. So, do you want a river? Or do you not want a river?
Okay.
That's the question that we gotta go to.
All right.
If you have Sunset Harbor, you can no, sorry. If you have green cities, you can do the eco water outlet. Will be a lot less poop in the water. And if you have natural disasters, you can do freshwater outlets, which will be not poop water, just water.
Just water. Okay.
But yeah. So they will. I think it has electricity. Yeah, it does. Okay, just checking. It should. Yeah, there it is. So he will stop pooping out water, and it will run down
Pooping
the thing.
out poop water or just
This is just
okay,
water.
just
He's just
water.
pooping it out. It is clear. It's fresh, clean water.
All right.
And that will just snake down. But if you have mods, you can use. This is also from more landscaping options.
Mhm.
You can do the water spawners, which are like again from the map editor. It's just tiny little blocks, depending on the capacity. That shows just how much water it'll push out every second.
Mhm.
But basically, the smaller, the less water. Bigger,
Cool.
a lot of water. I'm just
That's
gonna,
a lot of water.
I'm gonna do this far away
Yeah.
so that I gotta do it like on the edge of the map where we actually can build. So like here, always pause when you place them because otherwise, when you unpause, this will happen. Just crazy.
Mhm.
The height of this will determine where the water gets spawned. And it can also vary. Like if you have half of it in the ground, it'll only spawn water like from half of the spawner.
Okay.
So if you have a lot of it in the ground, you'll also see less water. But yeah, if you lower them to below where the water level are, they'll suck in the water
Mhm.
instead of pushing it out.
Mhm.
So if you have like a disaster, they might be a good like last ditch effort to remove water from like
Save it.
if
Yeah.
you have like a valley where there's houses, you can use it to remove water from a pit.
Mm.
But you can cause a lot of damage with these, so it might be easier just to put a little.
Yeah.
You know, this. And they're also kind of inconspicuous. You can just put a rock over it. Nobody will know.
Nobody
Nobody
will know.
will know. It'll look like a perfectly little meandering river.
It'll look like a magical rock that spews forth water, hopefully clean.
It's a game.
Although Gareth Hubble on YouTube chat says, "Is it even a realistic river without some poop?"
That is a very good point.
It's not something
It's a pretty good
like
point.
to think about, though. You know.
Yeah.
And Sim Nation Jan is fighting back. He said, "You started at the bottom, and you're still there."
Great. Love it. Great. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations. All right. Do you feel like you've shared your endless knowledge about
terraforming? I mean,
Is there
we
more?
didn't even use other tools. Yeah.
Oh,
the
please go ahead.
I totally forgot that was.
I love it.
It's my fault. The level tool, is
Okay.
probably the one that you will start using the first.
Okay.
And then probably smooth. If you want to have a smooth area, right click the height that you want, and then just draw, and it will raise to that level.
Okay.
Basic, super simple. This is probably the tool that I use the most because when you start building, smooth is what you want.
Okay.
Like just a clean, easy building area.
Mm-hmm.
Level tool.
Level that. Cool.
Just level all of it.
Now, you said that it smooths it out, like it brings it up. Does it also push it down if it needs to, or?
Yeah. So if we wanted another height, like if I wanted it to level it out with this highway, which is on a slope, but
Mhm.
if I want it to be this height, I just right click that area
Okay.
and then keep drawing
Very fancy.
with that height. So wherever you right click, that's the height. There is also, these are overlapping. There is also a height where you can like input the value and you can see that change when you click.
Cool.
This is also a pretty good tool if you want to see how like what the height difference is.
Okay.
So I can see that there's like
Yeah.
a 50-meter height difference between these. But yeah.
Helpful.
Yep. Did you do anything? Oh yeah. Slope terrain. I probably don't use this a lot. You can also use this as a level tool because if you right click, it decides that's the height, that's the tallest of the hill. But if I wanted a slope from here to here, if I
Mhm.
wanted to match these up, I would right click the top of the hill and then left click at the bottom and then just click drag.
Ooh.
And it creates a slope.
So nice.
A perfect slope.
It is rather perfect.
That's all the tools. That's all the tools.
That's
Okay,
all the
now
tools.
I'm
You
done.
don't want to do the last one?
The ditch tool.
Yeah.
It will slow. It will create a height. I think it's like 10 meters up or down. 20 meters. So 20 meters up or down. If you
Okay.
right click, it goes up. If you left click, it goes down.
Okay.
Ta-da!
So
That's
you
it.
just need a quick ditch.
I don't use it.
Okay.
Because I just use the level tool. It's
Yep.
very rare that I would need exactly 20 meters up or down.
No, probably not.
But, if you need it, there it is.
Yeah, cool. We had someone ask a traffic question
Ooh.
in chat. Terrell76 wonders, how do you know where to position bus stops or subway stations?
Cool. I think the main part is to try, when you're making a bus line, to have it either go in a loop or back and forth on the same road.
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't have to be like exactly on the same road when you go back and forth, but to try to keep the lines in a line and to also not just have them go from random point to random point, to have them interlink vital parts of your city. So that you have, God, I don't even know. Do I even have bus routes? I do, but I don't know where they go. I don't know if they're efficient. I think I just made these random.
Okay.
I don't know if I have like a good example. Oh yeah, so like I have a bus line here, this blue line. Can you even see that? Is it even
Little bit.
visible? I can hide all the other ones. Show me Mr. Blue. Here it is. Okay. Maybe you can see it. It goes like around here.
Yeah.
So he goes on the outline of this downtown, and then you could probably make like one that goes through. But he visits the park. He visits near this bridge. So if people wanted to swap to walk across this bridge, they could get off at at that stop. Here they stop at the school. They stop near these big clusters of high rises,
Mm-hmm.
and then they stop at the central station.
Makes sense.
But you just wanted to stop at vital parts so that it gets the usage from the people.
Okay.
That you want them to be able to go from like where they live to their job, or from where they live to like a fun thing to see, or from where they live to another mode of transport so they can swap and go somewhere else.
Cool.
There needs to be like somewhere to go. You want to make it optimized in that way too.
Yes.
But that goes for any mode of transport.
Mm-hmm.
If it's super far away, if it's like the airport, you could probably use like the metro, because they want to go from the airport to maybe downtown to their house.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good metro route, for example.
Yeah. Or like the main bus stop area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Someone thought of a reason to use the smiley face terrain brush. It was Teddy Radko, and I think you can guess pretty accurately that they
Clown face?
suggest you can make Clown Face Mountain.
I'm gonna tell you something, Helena. I'm never gonna make that. I hope you know that, chat. I hope you know that.
All right. Would you like to go on to the next question that you can help teach someone something?
Yeah. Does chat have any questions?
Perfect. I've been asking a few of those. There's a couple
That's
more
good.
on the main list that we've got
Oh yeah.
as well.
All right, hit it.
All right. I would like a tutorial on Move It 101.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
She's been waiting for this moment her whole life. Clearly.
I have. Also, Cuboid is in chat, so I'm a little bit stressed. The creator of Move It. No pressure at all.
So much pressure.
So Move It is obviously a mod. It is not in the base game. It's not in DLC. It is just a mod from the Steam Workshop.
Mm-hmm.
It is I think the second most popular mod after Precision Engineering, which before that was default in the game. It shows like the angle of the road.
Yeah. Cool.
But Move It I think has like 1.5 million subscribers at the moment, which is pretty crazy. But it allows you to move basically anything in the game, in any direction, up or down, left or right, wherever you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows you to do so very easily, which is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Where do we start?
She's
Okay.
so nervous. I can feel the warmth You're getting real nervous.
I think it's just excitement. I don't know
Okay.
if it's nervous energy.
Okay.
It might be like anxious energy, but it's like
Yeah,
a
okay.
positive anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, first day of school.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's the feeling. That's the
Mhm.
feeling. I'm not gonna go like super in depth. I think.
Okay.
How much time do we have?
We have half an hour left.
We have half an hour. We might come back to it. If chat doesn't have like a ton of questions. It's just a mod. But we can I think that the thing that you would use it that I use it the most for probably is either for roads or to move buildings exactly where I want them. So you can for roads you can just click all of these. So these are nodes and this is a segment. So if I wanted these like maybe these aren't like perfectly together, right? You see how this road is like a little bit longer than this one?
Oh, it's terrible.
It's so gross. So then
I
I can just
hate it.
then I can just move it
Mm.
like a little. Oh, and look at how pretty it is now.
Gorgeous. Ugh.
Ah.
Chef's kiss.
You can also I guess maybe if something isn't like the perfect slope,
Okay.
if you want it to be wait, I'm just gonna make this not perfectly sloped. I'm just gonna like raise these up a little bit, maybe like lower this one.
What a mess.
That looks ridiculous.
So crazy.
And then I could select all of ookie. I gotta find all the nodes now. And then I gotta select all the nodes here.
Mhm.
Because then we can slope it. Oop, doop. Then we can just look at that.
Ooh, why is there a
Be-
tree in the street?
You know why there's a tree in this street. So you can move and align and rotate and not flip upside down, but basically in any direction you can just move things in a crazy way. So roads relatively easy. Also,
Mhm.
why is just a line of bushes here? What the hell? Okay, those go away. Yeah, this isn't the fun bus depot that we built on the stream. Sad. But the streets you can move in any directions. You can also like just change the angle of roads.
Mhm. I'm just
So-
getting out of the way so that the things show a little bit better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't move them.
No, but
Sorry.
but I can get out of the way.
But you can like angle things around and this is pretty good for I'm gonna build like a really shitty grid system right here. Just like a really like just at a weird angle,
Mhm.
like not and then if I wanted the grid to look perfect, right?
Yeah.
Then I can adjust it with move it. First probably I'd want to make it flat
Mhm.
so we can hide a line. Oh, not to terrain height, to object height, and then we can just flatten everything, right?
Flatten it.
Flatten it. And then we can move things into place so that the grid will snap.
Ooh.
Look at that. Beautiful,
So
beautiful.
fancy. So dancy.
And do the same thing here. See how like these aren't perfectly aligned, right?
Mhm.
This is going to be a little bit difficult, but we can stretch this and then the grid will move with it
Mm.
until it snaps.
Beautiful.
Oh, look at that.
Flawless.
And then this. Oh, look at that. Ah. And then you can have a very good grid.
Yeah. Looks good.
You can turn your sort of the plans that you have
Mhm.
and make it into like the complete thing that matches exactly what your vision was. Because moving something after it's been placed is very handy.
Indeed.
You can also move the buildings, which is like probably the second thing that I do the most.
Okay.
Just like maybe this building isn't exactly the one I want. Maybe I want another one of this, right?
Mhm.
So I can just delete that and then I can copy this one and move it into place.
Wow.
And then I have exactly what I want. Oh my goodness. Or if I have a unique building,
Mhm.
like, I don't know, a high school, or probably all of these. These are probably all done with move it. I think we did this on a stream.
Mhm.
Because then we can adjust these exactly where we want them.
Okay.
So that, oh god, why is it, what?
What did you
Oh,
do?
did I place another one in there? Oh, I did. Whoops, sorry, my bad. Why is there like many in
Making
here?
everyone sad.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know there was like 4 in the same spot. And then you can like move that perfectly in the center of where these pathways are. Which is really nice. So if you didn't get it perfectly centered on your first
Yes.
try, you can do that. You can also glitch buildings into each other
Okay.
to create like visually a bigger building. Let's see. It only works with ploppable buildings, so like police stations or parks. Anything
Mhm.
else, unless you have mods. You can do anything with mods, but unless you have mods, you can only do it with ploppable buildings because they won't despawn.
Okay.
When you try to move things into it and onto the same spot, they don't
Okay.
really like that much. But if I wanted like a bigger library, I could just put another library right next to it. Maybe you see like where's the door for the library? Like right there. So we could just have that like pop out of the side.
Mhm.
And then suddenly we have a library. Oops, that's twice the size of a normal library.
It's so huge. So much knowledge and learning.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. This this is getting me pretty stressed.
Very cool.
I should probably fix the traffic.
And when you say things like you choose all of these or copy this,
Yeah.
can you elaborate on how that is done?
So there's you. I just select the building and then do Control C and Control V, just like
Mhm.
most like
Computer applications.
yeah most computer most of the hotkeys will have some sort of you know there's hotkeys for everything. But there's also you can just click the button. Yeah. Is there a copy button? I don't even know. I've never used it. There probably is. Nope. But you can do Control Z and Control V.
Mhm.
You can also do it. Ooh, another great thing, with trees. We love trees. Oh my god, we love them.
Well, you wouldn't know it by watching this episode where you're just deleting them left and right.
They're not supposed to be there, and they're torturing me, and it
Okay.
looks so weird when they're like on a street. Like they're not supposed to. Okay. But if you have like a really pretty cluster that you've made, like maybe this is like the prettiest thing I've ever made. I can just copy these plants and move them
By
further
Control
down the road.
C.
Control
Okay.
Z, and then
Control C or Z?
like C,
Control
like
C.
the
Yeah, okay.
C.
C as in cookie.
I'll just say Z if it's Control Z.
Okay.
But Control Z. Why do I say with the Z?
Nobody knows.
I'm broken.
Yeah.
Control C.
Yeah.
And then you can move that cluster further down. You can like rotate it around. Maybe you want to have it like copied like above a little bit.
So it doesn't look so copy pasted.
Yeah. I mean, you could do the same for any collection of things. Like if you have like a really pretty area that you built, like maybe you placed props in just the most immaculate way.
Yeah.
You can copy them and place them somewhere else in your city.
Awesome.
It's very nice. I mean, there's so much more, but oh gosh. Okay. What else is there? There's so many more things, but they're so in depth. Eh.
We did break her. Good job, chat.
There's just so much in here. There is the import and outport, like import and export system.
Okay.
So if you I think it's sort of the same as like before. Like if you have an area that you really love, but maybe it's on a different map. Maybe it's like in a different city.
Oh no.
And you're like, oh, I really want this part in this city. You can load up the old city, select that whole area, export it, and then you can load into the old area and import the new selection.
And how does that work? Like as far as terrain, like if it was on a mountain in your previous map and it's flat, like right there in your current map.
Yeah.
Does it make everything wonkadoodles or does it?
It will make it pretty wonkadoodles.
Okay.
Because it will see here like how it copies the height.
Yeah. Crazy.
You'll have just a hill. But because you can raise and lower it.
Okay. Cool.
That should be
buildings.
pretty doable.
Okay.
You know, it'll probably require a little bit of fine tuning, but it is pretty doable.
Some tweaking.
Yeah.
Cool.
There is also, I guess, another feature of. Oops. Come back. There it is. There is also, what is that? Lower to terrain height or raise and lower to terrain height, so that it'll just wait for it to load. There it is. It'll lower it to where the terrain is.
Okay, so there is a way to fix that quickly.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know. There's just so much. I don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you've done a good tutorial though.
It's like the basics. Yeah.
All right.
But if you want to, there is a Move It tutorial on our YouTube channel. You can check out if you want to have every detail explained to you.
All of the details.
In super detail.
Yeah. Cool. We have another question. How can one build something and make it look so realistic?
This was a question that Anders came up with. I'm gonna take off my glasses because they're hurting. Ugh, these headphones are squeezing
All
them
right,
into my
and I'm gonna
head.
scooch back in now that
Yeah.
now that
Oh
like
yeah, you don't have to hide
Yeah.
anymore. How to make something look realistic?
so realistic. It's just
So realistic.
so realistic.
The thing that Anders was asking about, because I just wanted like a sentence in the document that we had. How do you decide where and what to place?
Yeah.
For me, unless I have it in my memory, like I have when I'm building it already, like a visual thing of this is exactly what I wanted to look at. You can find inspiration from real worlds. You can look at other people's builds. You can Google Maps. But just to either you have an idea in your head before what you're gonna make, or usually what I do, I just scroll through the things that I have until I find something that inspires me to build it.
Okay.
I still have the TikTok things in here. Wow.
Woohoo!
Did you guys watch the TikTok stream, by the way? It was great.
Yeah, you and Imperial Jedi did a great job.
Oh, yeah. It was really fun. I'm trying to feel like some park things here.
Okay.
So we only have the base game things installed at the moment. But maybe like I scroll through here, I'm like, this swing set, maybe we should make a park.
Right there.
Maybe
Bam.
and then I like zoom around my city to find an area where like a park would work. Like near this little what is it called? Museum. This boat
Totally.
museum.
Children should be playing near open water all the time.
Well, maybe I put it on the other side of the path and like enclose it with a fence or something.
Sure, that works. On a hill where they could just fall. Just messing with you.
So many negatives, you know? We're just gonna build a park and it's gonna be pretty.
Yeah.
But to go through all the things that you have, to either get inspired or get inspired beforehand and build a thing that inspired you. And then, you can look on the workshop for things, or you can try to find base game items or DLC things that will, fulfill your build dream. And usually when it comes to like decor and stuff, like if I want to place benches or whatever, there's usually not a thing that is too much.
Okay.
Because cities, if you like just walk down the street, you'll notice there's like trash cans and there's streetlights and there's benches and there's always
Power
like something.
boxes and people,
So
pigeons.
Keep pasting
Yeah.
things, and eventually it'll look realistic. That's
Okay.
that's basically it. Do note though that there is like a limit on things that you can place in the game, because it's a game and it's not
Yeah,
real life.
it's
You
not infinite.
can't have 10 trash cans a block, because you'll run into limits. But if you have a dream and you want to build it, or if you feel inspired by an object, you can just keep placing things until it looks exactly like you want.
Nice.
Hey. Oh.
Teddy Radko said, "I think you can use Hide It mod to hide Helena." So the next time we need me to duck around, just pull out Hide It.
Yep.
Yeah.
It works. I can hide streetlights and trash cans and Helena.
Indeed.
It's great. We'll add it as an option for sure. Do we want to loop back on one of the questions?
We had someone, when we were talking about Move It 101, they would love to see a little mini tutorial on procedural objects.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Sure.
And we got about 17 minutes.
That's tight. Okay. I can do that. Not tight as in like that's good. Tight as in that's gonna be time squeeze. But we can do it.
You can do it. I have faith in you.
So procedural objects is a mod that will let you edit the mesh of basically any object. There are certain limitations. Most base game objects for some reason, and also all objects that slope with terrain. There's like a certain like fences. And there are also weirdly some workshop buildings that just like follow a slope. You can notice it if you just like use it, like hover it over an area. You can see if it like bends with the terrain.
Okay.
But any building that doesn't do that, you can turn into a BO object, which basically turns it from whatever it was into a completely different form, which is PO, and will make it a little bit unusable. if it is a building, it will no longer be a building. It'll just be a visual object that you now have on your map. And it will also remove like all of the props that are on it. So like all these signs, for example.
Why would you want to move them? They're so cute.
I know. You can always add them back
Yeah,
if you
okay.
want to
All right.
meticulously add back every sign.
Yep.
But the main reason why PO is so great, at least for me, is like if you have, for example, like a weird angled straight corner. Let's move this bad boy like over here to like this weird tight corner, right? You want to have a building that reaches all the way out to the edge. But he like cuts off a little bit here at the sidewalk.
Nobody
right?
wants that. It's so unsightly.
This might be a little bit. Okay, this was actually kind of good.
All right.
So all of these little blue dots
Mm-hmm.
are the edge of the mesh in some way. And if you move one of these dots, you'll see like how the building bends and breaks and turn it into jelly. So it'll move the texture, it'll move the mesh, and it'll move everything around it.
Okay.
So the main thing that we want to do with this one, I guess, is just to make it fit into this corner. It also has a gimbal, which is super efficient if you want to move something specifically like back and forth in a straight line. Sometimes I use PO just for that. But I want to have this wall, right, be like at a vastly different angle.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to select like this entire wall. And then there are many, many different like tools that you can use here.
Okay.
So these are the mouse tools. So position is just moving back and forth, or just making it real weird.
Just making it dance. You're making it dance.
Basically. There's also scale, which if you have like a part of an object that like that looks a little bit too big, or maybe I want it bigger, you can just select what you want and then
Yeah. This reminds me of like selfie filters, like big nose, small nose, big nose, small nose.
Yeah.
Huge eyes. Yeah.
It's similar. You're rebuilding something that was already there. But we want this wall, right, to fit the angle of the road. So we're gonna use the rotation tool and just try to get the angle. It's gonna not be perfect. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But then before we do that, we have to move this wall back a little bit because now this wall needs to be much further back. So I'm just gonna scoot it backwards into itself. And now let's see if it fits. Hopefully it does. It might not look perfect because it wasn't intended to look like this.
No.
But I think it will look. Oh god. Okay.
Pretty good though.
It's not bad. I've definitely made uglier buildings in PO for sure. For sure. But these, I mean, this might take like a lot longer depending on the building. I probably would have chosen a much smaller building.
Yeah.
Because now all of these points need to be edited a little bit to make it seem natural. And there's like giant gaps up here and where the wall is. Because it's not supposed to look like this. Not even a little.
Yeah. So in other words, don't let Maddie build your house for you in real life.
In real life? No. Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll be a bunch of hot glue and hopes and dreams. But this is super nice for if you want something edited in a small way or if you have giant cojones in a big way. You can also edit decals.
Yeah.
Which is something probably a really good thing to start with because you can't really mess them up in a big way. But what I use them for is probably for just all of these beautiful sidewalks. Maybe you don't want them. Let's see if we can find like an area that we want to cover with these.
Cover it up.
That isn't completely square. Oh gosh, I don't know. Oh yeah, we'll do like just a side of this.
Okay.
I don't want it to be too large. Come on, prop line tool. Okay. Just let me paste a long line of these. There it is. Okay. So we'll move these into place with move it. To get the right angle, we want to angle it with the road. And then move it into place. Bam, bam, bam. If we then turn these into PO.
Yeah.
Which is the same hotkey as that apparently. We can then, they'll be a completely flat object, which they actually weren't before. Decals are, I can show this by pasting another one. Where is it? There it is. If I were to raise this and lower this, you'll see how it like starts to fade. I'm lowering it, right? And you can see how it just sort of lightens up, the opacity changes.
Mm-hmm.
That is because a decal is basically a cube. It's just a straight, like just a cube. But when you PO it, it becomes a flat object.
Okay.
So then you can, if I just wanted like this road to be this texture, if you were to, before it's a cube, before when it is a cube, it would like stick up on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
But if you made it a PO object, you can like lower it so that it doesn't stick up on the curb. And that's like the best thing ever.
So if you want cobblestone, that's a good way to build a cobblestone street like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden you can just like have a cobblestone street
Mm-hmm.
where the cobbles don't actually show up on the sidewalk, which is super nice.
Nobody wants cobblestone sidewalks. Streets are bad enough.
And you can have such like not repetitious
Yeah.
things because you can have them just look
Yeah,
at
like
that,
flip it around.
and they won't show up on the sidewalk at
and
all.
the little manhole cover's still
Mhm.
there. So cute.
Sometimes at
Sometimes.
certain angles. But you can also just edit them super easily. So if you wanted to just change the shape, you
Mhm.
can change it. Which is, I think editing a decal is probably is the first thing that you should try to do when you're
Cool.
doing PO. Because it only has, you know, the 8 little points, and you can't really mess it up too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Start with something simple, work your way up. Very, very much so.
That's just a good tip for life. Start with something simple.
Another thing in PO is coloring.
Oh, tell
you
me
can-
more.
Yeah, you can also add text, but it's and it's because it's a vanilla object. You can't really do it because it's a default. We'll put it on a building. Do I have any buildings that aren't? I think I can put text on. We'll go back to Mr. Weird Building over here. Most props, when they are base game or from a DLC, they won't really like to edit. Oh, gosh, no, they don't like it either. I need a custom. I need something custom. Please have something custom installed. I don't think I have anything custom. Oh no. Just how there must be something either in the building or PO.
Mhm.
Most base game objects just aren't a fan of PO and they don't work well
Yeah.
together with them. But then I don't think, oh no, these don't work either. Oh, that makes me angry. I can't change them. I can't change them like that. We can't. Okay, we're gonna do the basic coloring.
All right. But still fun and still helpful.
So in PO there is a little color square at the bottom. And if you click it, you can change the color of the building. Most base game buildings will have sort of a basic color map that will
Yeah.
randomly change depending on what the building is.
Mm-hmm.
And that stays in PO. So that you can, whatever the color, like that color area is, you can change it into any color you want. So like a gross, like acid sort of lime green.
Yeah. Or if you wanted to paint a town red, you literally could do that.
You literally could. If you have a custom building, you can like select the area on the texture itself and then just do that. It's crazy. The minute detail that you can get into is absurd.
Absurd.
I mean, quite like
Yeah.
that's probably the right word.
Like an acid-colored building.
You can also add text. So like if I wanted to add like text to this, like I
Mhm.
could add the name of the restaurant,
Yeah.
or if I had if I PO'd like a vehicle, I could probably add like the title, like the name of the destination at the top
Okay.
of the car, and all of that, all of like just add text wherever you want.
Such magic.
I mean, it's quite stupid. It's quite stupid. What else is there in Mio? I didn't plan for this question.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, sneaky, very sneaky.
Keep her on her toes.
It has some of the options that Move It also has, so you can align the height and the rotation. You can slope things. And then you can replace by copy, which we actually used in the Pride episode,
Yes. Oh, yes.
where you
Oh,
can
there
just
you go.
take an object and then paste it all over, sort of like Photoshop. What else is there? Advanced editing.
Mhm.
You can mirror a model, which is super nice if you've PO'd something and you want the complete opposite of it to like place on the other side of the street
Mhm.
to have perfect symmetry. You can mirror it, have it, you can also stretch something to have a perfect stretch in every direction,
Yeah.
which is super nice, which we've also used a couple
Mhm.
times.
Mungo Killer on Twitch chat says that us saying sidewalk is triggering to them as an English person because they are called pavements there.
I'm sorry. I learned English in Dallas. This is what we say. We say we say this. I can say it in Swedish if that makes it better.
Sure.
I'm not gonna say it in Swedish. Nobody will understand me.
Yeah.
But you can PO basically just allows for editing of basically everything.
All of the things.
Almost everything into almost anything you want it to be. You just have to have the time and the patience.
Such magic.
I
How are you feeling?
that was intimidating. That was intimidating.
Good. You did good.
Did
I mean, I feel like I know more about PO.
Some of the times when I talk about like the things that I'm super passionate about, it usually
Yeah.
just sometimes when I'm done, I just think to myself, did I actually say anything that was actually intelligible? Do you feel educated?
I mean, sure. Yes.
Mm.
I mean, the first time I think I heard people in the community talking, oh, I PO'd that.
Yeah.
And to non-cities fans,
Yeah.
you think like, oh, you pissed off someone. And so, like, oh, he's so PO'd. And
I
and
didn't
so like
even
that's
think of that.
helpful.
Oh
No, I mean, I quickly learned, but
Yeah.
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 So it's good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
This is just, it's frustrating me. I
I
need to.
know. The cities builder in you can't have this happening.
The fact that I haven't put like lane connectors and fixed the traffic here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite good. I mean, it still moves quite well. I'm
Uh-huh.
surprised by how well it works without any sort of rules or policies. They're just going
Yes.
ham. They're just going in, and they don't care. Living their lives.
You got a compliment from Gareth Hubble on YouTube chat. He says that your explanation of PO might help him sell the idea of using it to someone that he watches on Twitch.
Nice.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. If you again like any of these like mod tutorials that I feel like I haven't even touched the like
Mm-hmm.
we haven't gone into depth on basically all of them except for the trade tools, which I think we covered pretty well. But any of the mods, if you want to get better tutorials, we have tutorials on many of them on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And there's also tutorials that other people have made if you need them in other languages or all of that.
And we recently, as of last week, actually updated a couple pages on our forums with super mega so much information for new players. So that include links to all those tutorials. So check out the Paradox forum
Very nice.
for new player information in the city's forums. And you can find a lot of really good information there, not just videos, but also like written out things, information about Steam, etc. It's really, really helpful. So hopefully this provides help for a lot of our players who had questions about things and wanted to learn more from Teacher Maddie.
Because it's World Teacher Day.
It is World Teacher Day.
I feel like I have. I mean, we learned a little bit too. I
Yeah.
didn't know you could make parking lots in the game. I've always used mods. There we go.
There you go.
Learn new things.
So much learning, so much education,
This
so much fun.
Look at how non-circular this is.
You're gonna be okay.
My God, I gotta take a step back.
Yeah, I mean, our time with you is coming to an end, but
Yeah.
you just know that as soon as we cut,
Yeah.
then she'll be like fixing things and
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was our learning episode. It's a special one-off episode. Next week we're going to be playing on console, which should be really interesting.
It's
Should be
been a while. I did play it on my Switch for a couple hours this weekend just to like pick it back up to just see what it's like again. But we are gonna be playing on Xbox.
cool.
So it's still gonna be different. There's gonna be more DLCs and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
gonna be fine.
It's gonna be super fun. So we'll be building something in console for a couple weeks, starting next week for our live stream. So
Yep.
I think that'll be interesting and fun.
cool.
Yay!
Nothing
All right.
else?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
We
Well-
hit a lot of the topics. But always, as always, if you have more questions or want to learn more, hit us up on our socials,
Mhm.
and we'll keep an eye out for those questions and keep track of them, and maybe do another episode somewhat like this in the future.
Yeah. If you have more questions,
There's always more questions.
ask me all of them.
Every single one of them.
Put me on my toes.
Yes.
Chat, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
We will be back next week.
Next week. And until then, have a wonderful week and build something cool.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
See you later.
Bye.